Hi, I'm Kamilla Sultanova. I work on diversity, equity, inclusion topics as workshop facilitator, as a speaker and event host in Finland. So the spring 2022, I had an honor to do a series of workshops for Ely Keskus professionals and TE-Toimisto business coordinators. The training was called Recruit, Match and Empower Sales Training for Recruitment Professionals, Matchmaking Professionals in Finland for matching diverse talents who live here. There were over 20 participants from across Finland, and I was excited to do it online and get the exposure to these people who I was working on the other side of the table once when I was myself unemployed. So setting the context here, I used my matchmaking experience, which I gained at Hanken School of Economics when I was matching international students. So I trained these TE-Toimisto business coordinators in how to match better and how to channel the insights which I had last 2 years and make them more successful in matchmaking to small and middle-sized companies. Myself, I called hundreds of companies on LinkedIn and my other network in order to do the buy-in and make them engage with international students. So it's been a lot of work in progress. I was inspired by this matchmaker role that I had. So when I trained the TE-Toimisto professionals, I started with the question, do you even know that when you match someone's CV to an employer, you're actually designing somebody's life? I also challenged them by asking, how could they, as TE-Toimisto professionals, be more courageous and embracing their matchmaker role, but also embracing their role as a life designer? TE-Toimisto services are good to start with when you come to Finland, but you shouldn't be framed by what they offer. My experience with TE-Toimisto when I learned Finnish and wanted to get onto the job market wasn't always the most positive one, but I made it work. We've heard thousands of stories how internationals, when they engaged with TE-Toimisto education or services, that they're forced to change their job into a different career track, which is outside their own professional expertise. And the research in 2016 showed that only 9% of internationals found a job through TE services. And now, when TE-Toimisto professionals became my clients, I had to push my own prejudice. I worked around helping them how could TE-Toimisto plan my life better. So I came up with 5 concrete tools and insights that would help TE-Toimisto business coordinators be better at their work as matchmaker and as a life designer. So the first tool I gave them was to write a sales script in order to approach small, middle-sized companies across Finland, because we know that they are the backbone of Finnish economy, and how they could manage the negative objections that they may receive from recruiting professionals or business owners, and they were prepared for these negative objections and still be able to get their CVs of internationals and immigrants to these potential employers. Second tool is I explain the value of personal branding and employer engagement. And why is this important? Because Finnish professionals or companies don't usually invest into employer branding or personal branding, and they miss out on that visibility that enables them to their success. The third tool I gave them was the negative objection handling toolkit. We came up with a negative objection bingo and offered them advice how they could manage that by pitching, through communication, and through emails. The fourth toolkit was the presence of these TE-Toimisto professionals during online trainings. One of the requirements I said is that they need to share their learnings with each other and actively engage in conversations. Why? Because 70% of adult learning happens in social circles through just sharing your experiences. And we managed to get those people from Vasa to Turku to really be open and share with each other what are the problems and what are the potential solutions to these matchmaking issues. And finally, the fifth toolkit was the conviction and trust to your work. How did I do that? I offered the insights on diversity, equity, inclusion, the evidence, so that would be the fundament of their conviction towards their role. They cannot match anyone from international talents or immigrant background if they don't believe in this topic. So I think the conviction and trust and meaningfulness of their job was much more important to instill to that group of ambitious TE-Toimisto professionals and still be inspired, because the impact of the job is that you're not only a matchmaker, but also a life designer. While training this group of TE-Toimisto business coordinator professionals, I've learned that we don't share enough stories and we should share more success stories of who is hired, who has been, given the job, given opportunity across different regions, because every success story of an immigrant or international being employed fuels that trust, and seeing is believing. I've also learned that the bureaucracy can kill the motivation of any professional if the bureaucracy doesn't allow for change to happen. So we need that change making, both on the individual level, on team level, but also on higher level, to see and make life of TE-Toimisto professionals easier, make their collaboration better. And to enable the actual matchmaking to happen, I learned that there is untapped potential in the way CVs are handled, and the CVs are people's lives, which are being unmatched at the moment due to also bureaucratic issues. After doing the trainings, I have noticed some of the professionals tapping into their power, brand themselves as employment and matchmaker. And even though there is still stigma among internationals towards TE-Toimisto services, I believe the new line of change makers already being employed there, working on this, empowering them and showcasing what impact they can have with their job, matchmaking and being a life designer, is going to be a major win-win. And we need to keep building those communities and that mindset.